Imagine living on a remote farm and slowly beginning to realise you may not be alone. In 1922, a family living on an isolated farm in Germany began noticing strange things. Footprints appearing in the snow that led to the house but never left. Keys started going missing. Voices, footsteps coming from the attic late at night. And their maid? Well, she quit, claiming the house was haunted. Just days later, everyone on the farm would be found dead. And somehow, the mystery only became stranger after the murders. Welcome to the mystery of Hinterkaifeck. In 1922, deep in the Bavarian countryside of Germany, sat an isolated farm known as Hinterkaifeck, far enough away from neighbours that if something went wrong, help wasn't exactly around the corner. The farm was home to 6 people: Andreas and Gisela Gruber, their widowed daughter Victoria, her 2 young children, and the family's maid. From the outside, nothing seemed unusual. A quiet family farm, living a quiet rural life. But in the weeks leading up to their deaths, something changed. Something didn't feel right. It reportedly began with footprints. One day, Andreas Gruber noticed tracks in the snow, leading from the nearby forest toward the farmhouse. But something about them unsettled him. There were no tracks leading back. Whoever had walked to the farm hadn't left. At first, maybe it was easy to ignore. A traveller, someone passing through. But then, other strange things began happening. Keys started disappearing. A newspaper appeared on the property, one nobody recognised buying. And late at night, the family claimed they could hear footsteps coming from the attic. Not rats, not settling wood, but footsteps, as if someone was moving around above them. Then came another warning. The family maid suddenly quit, claiming the house was haunted. She reportedly felt uneasy staying there, as though something wasn't right. But life carried on. The Gruber family stayed, and just a few days later, everything would change. On the evening of March 31st, 1922, something happened at Hinterkaifeck. Exactly what? No one knows. Over the course of the night, all 6 people on the farm were killed. But what made the case especially disturbing was where some of the bodies were found. 4 members of the family had been lured, one by one, into the barn. And there, they were murdered. The family maid was later found inside the house, and Victoria's young son was discovered in his bed. There were no signs of robbery, and there was no clear motive. No obvious suspect, just an entire family gone. But strangely, nobody noticed at first. The farm sat quietly for days, and yet something about the property suggested someone was still there. The family weren't discovered immediately. In fact, several days passed before anyone realised something was wrong. Neighbours noticed the family had disappeared from daily life. The young children hadn't shown up to school, and the farm itself seemed strangely quiet. When people finally arrived at Hinterkaifeck, they made a disturbing discovery. Someone had apparently been living on the farm. The animals had been fed, food had been eaten, the fireplace had reportedly been used, smoke had even been seen coming from the chimney, which meant one terrifying possibility. Whoever had killed the family may have stayed there, sleeping, eating, living amongst the bodies for days. And somehow, nobody saw them leave. Over the years, investigators and historians have suggested several theories. One idea was that the killer may have been someone known to the family, perhaps a personal grudge, someone familiar enough with the farm to move around unnoticed. Others suspected Victoria's estranged relationships, suggesting jealousy or revenge may have played a role. especially given the isolated nature of the property. But for many, the most unsettling theory is also the simplest. That someone had already been living there, watching, listening, sleeping in the attic, long before the murders happened. This could explain the footsteps, the missing keys, the strange newspaper, and the feeling that the family never truly were alone. But despite investigations, several suspects, and decades of speculation, no one was ever officially charged, and the mystery of the Hinterkaifeck remains unsolved. Maybe the most disturbing part of the Hinterkaifeck murders isn't how the family died. It's the possibility that in the days before it happened, they already knew something was wrong. The footsteps, the missing keys, the strange feeling that someone might already be inside the house, and perhaps the most unsettling question of all, if someone really was living there, how long had they been watching? This case remains unsolved, and over 100 years later, Hinterkaifeck still stands as one of Germany's most chilling mysteries. So what do you think happened? Do you think there was someone living in the attic, waiting for the right time to pounce and kill the family? Or do you reckon there was something else, more unexplainable, that happened at Hinterkaifeck? Let me know your theories in the comments. And if you like these types of unsolved mysteries, please remember to like, subscribe and ring that bell for further videos. It really helps DarkLight to grow. So remember, until next time, question everything, stay safe, Toodles.